Rightio, this is the second review I'm doing. Call it part 2 if you like, for it's all about the ride, keeping alive. Okay, the latest mod I've done, which is a pretty big mod, pretty fantastic mod I reckon. As if you're a TDM owner or own a TDM, you know that they're a 18-inch front wheel. To convert them to a 17-inch is actually quite easy, because an R6 wheel fits them, or an FZR6 or whatever, just bolts straight on. I read on a lot of forums that the VStrom 650 wheel fits straight on, but it doesn't, because the axle size is different. So what I had to do was, I actually got the whole forks of the VStrom. So these are VStrom forks. They're the same diameter, so I just slid them up through the triple clamps. I got the front guard, so that's the VStrom front guard, which I mounted, and the wheel, and the disc calipers. I just hooked up my I left my master cylinder on there, and basically hooked up my brake lines to the VStrom calipers, because they didn't fit on because of a different mounting point. The brakes aren't quite as good because the VStrom brakes will never bring it, but I'm going to probably end up changing the brake lines to braided lines. And yeah, the only hassle I ran into was the wheel all went on well, but they didn't send me the spacer. Now, with the VStroms in there, that spacer is like a universal spacer. This came off a 07 model, this front wheel, and the 04 to 07, they had a speed, what do you call it? Well, they have a cable on there anyway, a cable that runs off there. I can't think of it, speed sensor or whatever they call it. Anyway, so in 08 they changed that to where the engine revs off the engine the same as the TDM does anyway. So I thought that maybe the wheel was different or the setup was different, but a friend of mine's bike, he's got a 12 model, and when I checked the wheels out, they're exactly the same inside where the speed sensor wheel used to go in there. So they've just come up with this cap spacer. So I put that on, and she all went on well. That's for a 07 spacer. So everything went on well. I did a test ride today, did dirt, did freeway, went on a track and did about 160k an hour for a long while. It was very stable. Turn-in is a little bit slower because of the big wheel, I noticed. So it's a bigger turn-in. But so now I've got a 19-inch front wheel on the front, which is fantastic for tyre size, as I'm going to use this for my soft adventure bike, I guess you could say. The only thing I couldn't do was with the difference is you can't put the probably second generation VStrom axle in, because for some reason it's a little bit short. I don't know why. Maybe their forks were different, and that's the spacer on the left hand side. So there you go. So but what happens with the 04 to 07s and later model, the first generation, that's quite a thick, that on the left hand side, the axle actually acts as part of the spacer as well, because it's a lot longer than the second generation axle. This area here is a lot thicker. So there you go. I tested it all out today. That's the front guard. But what I will be doing, I'm actually going to this guard. I also own a SWM Super Dual, and this is off the 1921 wheels. So I'm actually going to mount. I'm going to get that mounted up there. So I'm going to have a top mount guard on here for this. So there you go. I'll eventually end up doing that, putting that guard on the front. Yeah. So I couldn't use the existing guard, and obviously all the calipers, existing calipers, and this is the brake fluid I use, which is really good brake fluid. So there you go. That's the 19-inch wheel conversion on a TDM 900. So it's been done. If nobody thinks it can be done, it can be done.